Welcome to the High School Huddle. My name is Brandon Chatmon. I'm joined by Ryan Aber. He's the lead prep writer for the Oklahoman. And we're here on the Dodge Sports Desk at Opupco Studios. Last week was a great week of high school football with Tulsa Union defeating Jenks in overtime and Southmore knocking off Westmore. Ryan, Jenks Union was another classic. What surprised you most about that game?
Well, nothing ever surprises me at Jenks and Union. It seems like every year this rivalry turns out classic games. This year was a little bit different because it was at home site, played at Union Tuttle Stadium in front of yet another tough crowd. But, Tulsa Union really struggled in week one, but it didn't really surprise me that they bounced back. I think maybe myself included started questioning whether Tulsa Union was really as good as we thought they were going to be. But they're going to be good. Jenks is going to be fine. And once again, it's going to be down to those two, I think, in the end in 6A.
All right. Well, Southmore is a new program this year, and they won their first varsity football game against Westmore. Many felt Westmore was the best team in Moore, and Southmore defeated them. How good do you think the SaberCats can be?
Well, I think they've got a chance to be a playoff team, although it'll be difficult in that district. They've got Edmond Santa Fe, Norman North, PC North that you've got to figure are going to take slots 1 through 3. But they could probably fight against Mustang for that 4 spot if everything breaks well. They've got some great skill position players there. Some obviously a really good quarterback, sophomore Kendall Thompson, really good running back in Keon Thompson. But their line definitely has some work to do.
All right. Well, there were several great performances last week. Which performances stick out in your mind?
Well, I think there's 3 for me. First of all, Bryce Paco Moore down at Tuttle last year put up big numbers against maybe some lesser teams, tended to disappear a little bit in their big games. But this year against Kingfisher, he goes off, has almost 250 yards rushing, I believe, 5 touchdowns. Another guy from Enid, a guy I wrote about today in the Oklahoman, Daniel Barwick, a running back who put up huge numbers last year for Pond Creek Hunter, made the move up to 6A. He was a little bit undersized. People wondered if those were just big 8-man numbers that wouldn't translate. But through 2 weeks, he's really done a good job for the Plainsmen. Also, Bryce Easley, kicker from Norman North. I don't think you can make any argument there's any better kicker in the state at this point, and maybe even on the 3 Division I college teams in the state. He hit 4 field goals for them and really was the difference for Norman North against Muskogee.
All right. Well, Putnam North's Josh Booker had a great game, also earning Player of the Week honors with his 3 touchdown performance in a win over Putnam City. NewsOK.com's Justin Harper spoke with Booker about his outstanding game.
Getting this win, Josh did say, for the team was a big monkey off their back, especially for the coaches and some of the seniors. What were you telling me about some of the seniors were just, before the game week, were just walking around angry just because that's all they could think about is losing?
Yeah, I remember some of my friends, before the game, we had, I remember we'd been in the locker room with them. They were just sitting down, and I was like, why aren't you getting hyped up and stuff?
The one thing you might not know is the guy can play some tennis. And, how old were you when you picked that up, and how good did you get before you decided just to focus on football?
It actually started a couple of years ago. Then it stopped a couple of months ago. And I started needing to focus on football. But I still play around just to play because I like Roger Federer, and my friends play tennis and stuff. And so I always like to play tennis. But I'm focusing on football, win a state championship, help the team.
Roger Federer fan. Not what you'd expect. Well, congratulations on being Player of the Week.
Thanks. Nice to have you.
We're back at the Dodge Sports Desk, and it's time to look ahead to this week. Clinton visits Chandler on Friday. Who do you expect to win that game?
Well, I think Clinton's going to win in the end. There's 2 really good skill position players in this game. Clinton running back Delance Griffin has put up huge numbers in the first couple weeks. Even last week in the pouring rain, still managed to put up big numbers. Chandler has a really good quarterback in Jack Gray. They've had a really good defense, only given up 6 points to this point this year. Early touchdown against Stroud. But I think that Clinton's offensive line, which they've always turned out huge linemen, and Griffin will just be a little bit too much for Chandler in this one.
All right. Well, Broken Arrow visits Tulsa Union this week. Do you expect Broken Arrow to continue their surprising start to the year?
Both these teams have been really surprising. I think we knew that Broken Arrow would be better. Tulsa Washington would probably be better than they were last year. They're in 6A. But, yeah, I think Broken Arrow is going to continue the run. This week they've got some really good linemen, again, sort of like we were talking with Clinton, Alvin Bailey, a couple other guys, and a really good quarterback there, undersized kid in Kel Phelps, who just seems to make play after play.
All right. And lastly this week, McGinnis visits Millwood. After winning 28 straight games, McGinnis is 0-2 to begin this year. How badly do the Irish need a win?
Well, I think anytime you're 0-2, you need to win to sort of get back in the right direction. The good news for McGinnis is they don't play in a particularly strong district. They've got Douglas, who could challenge for the district title. Weatherford is down a bit from where they've been in the past. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot of teams that are even going to be able to challenge McGinnis seriously. So I think the Irish are going to be all right. They just had a couple really tough games and came back on the wrong side.
All right, Ryan. Well, we appreciate your expertise. Thank you for watching the High School Huddle. We'll be back next week on the Dodge Sports Desk as we look forward to the first week of district play for most teams around the state.